Elevator pitch for Dore Copper is quite simple. We are looking to restart copper mining in the Chibougamau camp in Quebec. It was a prolific mining camp, having operated for about 50 years, and we have inherited a lot of high-value infrastructure. We have very high-grade copper and gold resources, very good community buy-in for the project, and we have a project which has a reasonable capital cost of about $180 million Canadian, high grades as I mentioned, and therefore we're looking to set things up so that we can find more resources and look to restart this Chibougamau mining camp. So we stand out from competitors in a number of different ways. The first one to consider is the fact that we have high grades. We're one of the highest grade copper projects in North America. A second way in which we stand out is that we are a commuter operation. We're very close to the town of Chibougamau, and therefore we're not building a project in a very remote location. The infrastructure is already there. In fact, for our project, the only new infrastructure we need to put in is a 3-kilometer road connecting 2 existing logging roads. Another way in which we stand out from competitors is the fact that the company has a lot of infrastructure in place. So when we put all those things together, we can see how Dore Copper would stand out from some of the competitors. One way in which we're similar to a lot of the competitors is that we have a lot of exploration potential. So not only do we have a project that's really already prepackaged for a restart, we have above and beyond a lot of exploration potential in copper and in gold. So the feasibility study is commenced. The big part of the feasibility study is the infill drilling. We need about 35,000 meters of infill drilling, and due to current market conditions, we've slowed that down. What have we been doing instead? We've been doing some exploration drilling, looking to expand the resources. Another thing that we've been doing is working on engineering related to the permit that the project requires. And another thing that we've been doing is metallurgical test work. We've composed a composite sample. We've done ore sorting test work to confirm the material is very amenable to ore sorting, and then now we've done a metallurgical testing to confirm the numbers we used in the PEA, and indeed we have confirmed concentrate recovery, copper recoveries in concentrate. But above and beyond what we had in the PEA, we're getting much higher concentrate grades, and that's going to have a positive impact on the economics of the project. So we will need a ESIA in order to restart operations at the project. The 2 mines that we're starting with, Corner Bay and Devlin, those deposits were never mined. They did have some bulk samples taken from them, so there's already a ramp down to the ore body, and we're currently doing the permitting for those mines. Part of the permitting process in Quebec is that we submit a project notice to the government, and then the Ministry of Environment will respond to that project notice. And during the summer, we received the response from the government, and it was very positive. There was a series of tasks that we have to do as part of the ESIA, which are the typical tasks that someone would do during the ESIA, which is characterization of minerals on surface, community consultation, and how the project would impact the local community. Yes, so the company has a lot of exploration potential. Gwillim is a past producing gold mine. It operated for about 8 years in the 70s and 80s. And as we've tabulated all of the historical information, we realized there was a lot more to that property than just the previous mined out area. And so we've been drilling the deposit for the last couple of years, not with a lot of holes, but each time we did a hole at Gwillim, lo and behold, we'd get an intercept over 10 grams per ton over 2 to 3 meters. And so we've decided to focus a little more on Gwillim. We announced some results earlier this year where we had intercepts of 10 grams per ton over 5 meters and 11.7 grams per ton over 3 meters. And in our modeling, we've discovered that there's in fact a 30-meter mineralized zone, which is a VMS in typical VMS in nature. And there's a number of, within that VMS structure, there's a number of high-grade chutes. Very exciting. We're going to have some results for Gwillim coming out soon. At Cedar Bay is a deposit where we currently have a 43101. It's a small deposit, it's 360,000 tons, but at very high grade, 1.92% copper and 8.7 grams per ton gold. And in our compilation work, we actually discovered that there was a shear zone at Cedar Bay that has all the characteristics of a Cedar Bay mineralized structure. However, it has never been drilled. And the reason why it wasn't drilled is that back when the camp started up in the 1960s, the land was owned by two different companies, and one company did some exploration on their side of the border, but the other company did not. And we're going to be drilling that area from a current existing drill pad at Cedar Bay, and we're very excited to see what type of results we get from that drill program. And then at Corner Bay is our largest deposit, currently have 8.6 million tons at 3.2% copper, making it one of the highest grade deposits in North America. And we have a couple of ideas on how we can extend Corner Bay along strike and having some potential perpendicular cross-cutting structures, which would be very significant for the company because it would result in that we could mine the deposit without any additional capital cost, because the capital cost is already going to be sunk in the development of the deposit. Catalysts coming up for the company are going to be related mainly to exploration. We've done exploration at the Gwillim deposit. We've done exploration at the Jaculet deposit. We plan on doing exploration at Cedar Bay and at Corner Bay. We expect to have some very interesting copper and gold results from those exploration programs, and that could result in a much bigger program where we'd be establishing resources going forward to add to the current hub and spoke. Another catalyst will be the results of the metallurgical testing that we're doing on the Corner Bay deposit. We will confirm what a concentrate grade from that will be, and it's going to be better than what we had in the PA, which is going to result in better economics. But more importantly, we'll be able to quantify the minor element composition of the Corner Bay concentrate. And the Corner Bay concentrate will be a very clean, highly desirable concentrate. And that's going to help us with discussions going forward in terms of financing the project with existing shareholders and potentially new shareholders. And finally, we're in the midst of advancing our ESIA. And as we do so, we're going to have catalysts related to showing the community support that we have from the project, not only from the town of Chibougamau, which in fact was built in the 1950s on the back of our project, but also with the First Nations community of Oje-Bougamau in the region. Copper sector is in a very interesting point right now. People have a sentiment right now that the copper market isn't that strong. However, we're still at a $3.75 price for copper, which is an exceptional price. And copper has tested $3.30 as a low point over the last year or so. And what that shows me is that we're in a very robust copper market, where no one is really discussing sub $3 copper. We're in a very healthy copper environment. And I see that copper environment existing for the short term and for the medium term. A series of catalysts will occur. We're not sure exactly what those will be, but that will precipitate the next run on copper, whereby copper will broach $4.50 and maybe $5 and approach all-time record prices. All the prognostication for copper shows that there's going to be a structural deficit within the next few years, and it's going to rear its head in 2030 as maybe a 5 million ton copper deficit, which is very significant. So the incentive price that people are going to need to build projects, especially very large projects, is going to be over $5. And we see a project like ours, which is smaller, much more economically nimble than a big project. We should really benefit from the copper market going forward. The value proposition is we represent unbelievable value. We have an after-tax NPV of nearly $200 million Canadian. We're trading at about less than 0.1 NAV. And then not only is our core project solid, but we have a lot of upside on top of the core project in terms of exploration potential, better concentrate grades than we had estimated in the PA. And there's also some consolidation opportunities around our camp where there's small bolt-on acquisitions that we can do. And therefore, I would say we represent tremendous value opportunity, and I urge the listeners to look a little deeper at the quality of the assets, the quality of our study, and compare that to the valuation of the company.